familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? Fema allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency. Think about that.
The X-Files. Well, I bet a lot of people thought that was simply entertainment. No, that's the reality we're living in now. What's going on, guys? I'm AK Electric. It is Thursday, the 19th of March, 2020. As everyone no doubt knows by now, national emergency has been declared. I will put a link to that and a link to this. This happened yesterday. Trump invokes Defense Production Act. This basically means the government can take over private industry. If there's something that you make that they need, guess what? They're your boss. Right now, I think it's hospital masks and respirators and things like that. But I'll put a link to this. As we stand at this hour, 218,824 cases worldwide in the United States, 9,415 with 150 dead. This is where we stand, people. Now, this video, I want to take you back to Jade Helm 15.
Conspiracy theory sparking headlines across the country, including this week in the New York Times. The theory that an upcoming Pentagon training exercise is actually part of a plan to impose martial law.
Oh, we were crazy conspiracy theorists, weren't we? Let's go back all the way to 2009, NLE 09, when everybody was freaking out back then. We were all fearmongers and all this, and, you know, this is just normal training the government does. Think about all of the military training that's happened since 2009 in cities across this country multiple times each year. Miami, New York, San Francisco, LA, Chicago, Seattle. In the middle of the night, military training, Black Hawk helicopters flying around, mock explosions, mock evacuations. We were told that all this was training for our military to operate overseas. Do you really believe that? Review Jade Helm 15, just the facts. Keep it in mind as we go through these stories. U.S. military could make the difference in nation's battle against COVID-19. Local story from my local media now. We are under a national state of emergency. We are at FEMA level 1. FEMA is in control. We're not talking about National Guard, which I've been told weeks ago the National Guard was going to be deployed in all 50 states. That's happening. But now we're talking about active military on the streets. You might say Posse Comitatus Act. Not under a national emergency, not under a FEMA level 1. Your constitutional rights are suspended. A lot of things are suspended. The media might not be telling you this, but this is the case. I got all kinds of stuff to give you here. Using the military during national emergencies. Little law professor examines much misunderstood Posse Comitatus Act. Interesting read here from Duke University. New Jersey issues statewide curfew to combat coronavirus. States and cities across this country are issuing curfews. Stay in your home. If you need to travel, it better be essential. You better have permission from somebody. Pennsylvania coronavirus update. Wolf orders all non-essential businesses to shut down. Would like to see people stay in their homes 24 hours a day. Out in San Francisco, this is happening. San Francisco shutting down for 3 weeks. 24-hour curfew starts tonight. If it is not essential for you to be outside of your home, you had better be indoors. People, we warned about this sort of thing for years. Every time the military had exercises in major cities, we told you they are preparing to use this against the American people. We were called crazy. Now it's in your face. CNN, here's what New York is doing to try to stop all kinds of stuff coming out of New York, talking about they might do a lockdown there. Residents may have to shelter in place. Businesses who are serving people the owners may be arrested. Over in the UK, the public face fine or jail if they refuse coronavirus tests or quarantine. If they refuse coronavirus tests or quarantine. Fine or jail. Denmark rushes through emergency coronavirus law. This says that they can force test and vaccinate you. Force testing and treatment in Denmark. You might say, well, that's back here in the United States, down in Kentucky, a coronavirus patient refused quarantine, so deputies are surrounding his house to force him to. In the dead of night, Israel approves coronavirus tracking methods the government started. They are using your cell phone to make sure that you are quarantined, that you are at where you're supposed to be. Might say that's Israel. Well, here's a U.S. article. Coronavirus, U.S. tech industry may track location of self-isolating people. I got news for you. They're already doing this. They've been doing it for years. You know, every time the topic of Edward Snowden comes up, everybody wants to talk about Edward Snowden, the man. not the shit that he exposed. Do you think any of that stopped? No, it just simply isn't talked about anymore. Be advised, Trump hospital ship going to New York and the West Coast. We got the U.S. Navy hospital ships deployed to the East and West Coast. This is big time, people. Walmart to turn portions of parking lots into drive-through testing centers for COVID-19. Do you know what this reminds me of?
What are you doing in Kansas?
Not enough National Guard. Homeland Security hired us. Brought us in to protect the governor of Nebraska.
Wait, the governor's alive?
Don't know. We landed. They brought us over here to help FEMA evacuate Rogue River.
Listen up.
Where to?
FEMA set up a tent city. Walmart parking lot. A few miles north of here.
The TV series Jericho. Season 1, Episode 8. FEMA set up a tent city in a Walmart parking lot. Oh, it was not simply entertainment, people. And how long is all this going to last? Pandemic will last 18 months or longer, says leaked U.S. government report. 18 months or longer. How you like to be quarantined inside your house for 18 months or longer? What becomes of all this? What's the end game? From CNBC, electronic payments look more appealing as people fear cash could spread coronavirus. Oh, I guarantee you we're going to see a cashless society. We're going to see the microchip. We're going to see all these things us crazies have talked about for years. The coronavirus, COVID ID pandemic, the real danger is Agenda ID 2020. Forced vaccination tracking identification system. Oh, we were called crazy during NLE 09. Read this article here, and let me bring back a video from NLE 2009. Does anyone remember this, gentlemen? Urgent, get this out now. RFID bracelets. Listen up.
I have been told by state troopers across the country that there are plans ready to be implemented that would include roadblocks and choke points, as we call them, major interstate junctions around major cities and so forth, where the greatest number of people can be held until they either prove their vaccination by papers, or in the case of a medical specialist in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who told me that they had observed a semi-tractor trailer being unloaded at the hospital loading dock, pallets and pallets, scores of cases of metal bracelets, and then once put on would slip into a place and be either pegged in there with some kind of device to hold it in place, but the band was meant to be permanent. On top is a chip. That chip will include all kinds of information about you and the fact that you have been inoculated.
I'll put a link to this video. You want to listen to it. He goes on to talk about what will happen to you if you refuse this chip. Now, whether it be a bracelet or something else, I fully believe forced vaccinations will come out of all of this. All of these things that us crazies have talked about for years. You know, all of a sudden it's not fear-mongering anymore. It's in your face. Think back from 2009 onward. What are we talking, 11 years ago? We've covered this every year, every time there's been a military exercise. Every time we've told you that the government is preparing for something. Now that's just training for overseas, never mind all that. Well, now it's in your face. Now you have to deal with it. This may not be an appropriate time to have an I told you so moment, but I don't care. My heart, my thoughts go out to all of us who have been involved in this, all of us who have paid attention, all of my friends, anybody who has made a video or shared a link over the years. My heart is with you. You are not alone. We'll get through this. To all the people who didn't listen, you know, that's your call whether you want to help them or not. But I love every damn one of you who've been involved in this thing over the years. That's all I got for now. I will continue to broadcast as long as we have the internet. Until the next one, you guys take care, stay safe, remain vigilant, take care of each other. I will see you on the next one.